Hey everyone, thank you for joining me. I'm a guy called Joe, and this is Bootstrapping Tools Let's Build, where we go through different low code and no code applications out there and build applications or solutions that help scrappy bootstrappers and entrepreneurs just like yourself overcome some of the hurdles or just upgrade their game overall. Now, before we dive into this video's topic, make sure to check out our YouTube channel. We got lots of videos out there on all sorts of different types of applications, from Data Studio to Google Sheets, Google Apps Scripts, as well as Retool and other ones as well. If you don't see something that you are looking for, feel free to shoot an email over to feedback@bootstrapping.tools. We'll take a look at that application and we'll be happy to make a video just for you. Now, for this video, we're going to be talking about connecting Retool with Shopify. So if you don't know what Retool is, it's a low-code solution, very powerful low-code solution, in fact, that lets you create very quickly UIs on top of your database or an API connection or any data set, essentially. We have a couple of other videos that we've made on laying on top of Google Sheets data, as well as database data, and then also Airtable APIs. But this video, we're going to be doing it on top of Shopify data. And Shopify, just in case you don't know what that is an e-commerce platform that lets a lot of entrepreneurs out there create e-commerce websites and start selling their goods without having to know how to do web development themselves. Now, there are a lot of tools out there that help you do some things on Shopify just to be a little bit more efficient with it. One of the things that they don't really do a really good job on is inventory management. So in this video, we're going to be talking about retrieving your inventory data for your Shopify products. And we're going to be using a couple of different APIs from Shopify because they don't really make it super easy for you. It's not just one endpoint. We're going to have to query a bunch of different ones. So we're going to be going into the products endpoint and then also the inventory levels endpoint. There might be a couple of other ones. I think we might have to go through the variant, the product variant endpoint as well, because inventory levels are tied specifically to a variant. So just to explain why that is, you can think of products as kind of like the overarching grouping of products, and then the variants would be different colors or sizes of that. So if you have an umbrella, you might have a red one, a blue one, a large one, a small one, whatever that might be. But then the inventory levels are tied specifically to the unique product that you're selling on Shopify. So let's dive right into it. Quick review on what we did last time. We connected your application, your Retool application, to your Shopify account using their API. So you just have to go to their app section, create a private app, and then using that private app and all the scopes that you give it, take the username, the app username, and the app password, and pass that through as basic authentication to Retool using a resource which we call the Shopify demo over here, which pre-populates the base URL for it, and then you can just add in the different endpoints that you want. So today, since we are going to be branching out, it could get a little messy. I want to also showcase this folder option that Retool has. So we're actually going to call this one CRM for client relationship management. And we're going to shove the get customers query in there. That way it's nice and nestled away. And then we'll create another folder in here, which we're just going to call inventory management. And we can shorten that just to MGMT. And then within here, we're going to create a new resource query, not in the CRM one, but in the inventory management one. And we're going to call this get products. And then, like I mentioned before, we're going to have to get products, we're going to have to get variants, and then we're going to have to get inventory levels. So let's go ahead and just create a bunch of them all in one shot, and we can customize them later. So this is going to get variants, and then we'll create one more called get inventory level. All right, so get products, that's the first one. Let's dive into the Shopify API documentation. So now we're here. There are a couple of different endpoints that we can get. There's a collect one, which after basically is saying that you can create and collect, you can add products to it by creating a collect for each product, which we don't care right now. We're not looking for that. We're looking specifically just to get the information about the products that we have. So that's going to be this one, manage a store's products, which are individual items and services for sale in the store. And then after that, we're going to be looking at the product variants, which is add or update product variants. Product variants are groups combinations of product options. For example, t-shirt with different size and colors. And then after that, we're going to dive into the inventory endpoint, but let's hold off before we dive into that. Let's hook up products first. So let's go ahead and click on the product one. And it's going to give you a little bit of a rundown on what the products are. But what we want to do is we want to just get the full list of products. So we're going to use the get endpoint here, the get request for admin/API, and then the version, which in this case is 2021-07, and then products.json. So copy that, bring it over here, hit the preview button, and we should be able to get all the products that we have, which everything looks pretty good. And then you'll see here that there is also a variance option here. We're not going to use this one in particular just because we're going to want to see variance specifically for a product that we're selecting. So go ahead and save that. And then before we dive in, you'll notice that there's an ID here. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the table option over here, and then we're going to display our product information. So you'll see here that it says get products.data, and you'll notice that all the data is it's kind of like not super easy to read, and that's because it's underneath of the products variable. So let's go ahead and just add products to it. We can clean this up later. I just want us to get us as quickly as possible to getting inventory data per product variant. So now that we have this, we're seeing all the information. We actually don't need to display all the information on here, so we can actually hide a bunch of these stuff. So that's the handle is pretty good. The handle is actually what's displayed in the URL. So it's pretty verbose and descriptive, and it's like the friendly version of it. So we can keep that for now. And then everything else we don't necessarily care about. So let's just have one list that we can just quickly click through or scroll through and click. That way we can see all the items that we have. All right, perfect. So as we click through here, the item that we're selecting is how we're going to get the ID for the next query, which is the get variance. So this is all saved. Let's go over to the get variance and then go back over to our Shopify API reference. From here, we're going to click on product variance, and then we're going to get the one specifically for a product. So not going to do this one. This one retrieves a list of product variant. It is this one actually. Yeah, sorry. So this is the one that we want. It's /admin/API, then the version, products, then you give it the product ID, and then you pass through variance.json. So going through here, so we have to replace, this is not going to work because product ID is not actually given. So what we're going to do is we're going to say table1.selectedRow.data, and then we're going to take the ID from there and then close it off the double curly brackets or braces. So this looks good. If we hit the preview button, we should see variant information, which in this case is only one. So let's save that. And if we click around, this should update itself. So this one has 2 variants within it. Click on this one. This one has 3 variants within it. So this data is looking good now. And let's do something similar that we did for the product information. Let's just grab a table over here. Keep it simple. And then just like before, you notice that get variant.data isn't showing up properly because it has that variable. So let's just go .variance, and this should display the information that we want. We don't need the product ID. I guess we don't. I guess we can have the ID there. Take that. We can display the price. That's fine. Edition, policy, compare price, fulfillment, service. We don't need any of this stuff really. Inventory management. Well, actually, what's in inventory management? Just Shopify. Useless. So option 1, option 2, and then option 3. These are the variations that make it different, but of course it's not very verbose. We can leave that up there for now. We can leave this. I'm basically just removing all of these so that we have a clear line of sight into the things that we need. Okay, so I think that's fine. Look at this. Yeah, we can make it a little bigger. Oh, we actually don't need that ID because we can't really read it. So SKU is important. SKU is more important than price. This looks pretty good. Let's see, can we shrink that down a little bit? Yes. Okay, great. So now when we select a product, it's going to update the table so that it gives us all the different variations for it, no matter how many there are. It's also going to give us the different options that are different within it. So I actually don't know what the size thing is, but that's okay. We can figure that out sometime later. All right, so the next thing here is to get the inventory level. So let's go back to our API documentation here. So on the left-hand bar, we're going to select inventory, and then from inventory, we're going to select inventory level. This is the endpoint that we want because it's going to give us the available quantity of an inventory item at a specific location. The location part doesn't matter too much. What we're going to do here is this one retrieves a list of all inventory levels. And then you're going to say, you see here in the documentation, and we need to include the inventory item IDs. So the inventory item IDs, if you didn't see it in the payload before, I'll show it to you real quick. Let's copy this first, inventory levels.json. Going back over to our app. So the inventory item ID is on the variant level. So it's attached to that. This is what we're going to grab. That's why we created a table out of it. That way, when you select it, it's going to pinpoint selected data and then grab that ID for us. So going over to the get inventory level endpoint, paste that in, and then we're going to pass through a URL parameter called inventory item IDs, just like it says in here. And then we're going to pass through the ID that we want, which in this case is going to be table2 select row.data inventory item ID. So we hit preview, we should see available. There are 2 units available specifically for this white Adidas Superstar 80s product. So we hit save there. And before we sign out here, let's just go ahead and display the information. So we can just quickly say, I don't know, sure, why not text? It's actually not really pretty. Let's put that in a container. Let's get rid of that. And then container. And then we'll say text. And then we'll say this says available quantity. And this will take data from the get inventory level.data inventory levels. This is just one because we're only going to call one at a time, and then the available param. So let's widen that up. I don't need that waving hand. So let's close this out, make this a little bigger. And then we can make this a little bigger too. Okay, so as we click around, you should see that this should update. So available quantity is 18, 4, 9, 8. If we click on one of these other ones, it'll update this. And then we don't have any information on it, so that's fine. Doc Martens, bunch of these, available quantity, 10, 19, all of that. So in a nutshell, that's how you're going to get the inventory data. Now that we have functionality in place here, we're getting the data that we need out of this, and it's all nice and neatly organized. We can start working on the UI, but we'll save that for another video. Hope if you do run into any trouble retrieving your inventory data for your Shopify products, feel free to leave a comment in the section below. We're always here to help. This is a Let's Build series, so there's definitely going to be a lot more like this. But of course, if you did like the video, please make sure to hit that like button below. It's the best way to support this channel by liking the video. It helps our video show up for users just like yourself, or viewers just like you, scrappy bootstrappers and entrepreneurs who are looking to up their game or build on applications, low code and no code applications. Of course, this is a Let's Build series. We have lots of series just like this one. In some of the next videos, we will continue to build on Shopify. We'll be building out the UI a little bit more. We'll start diving into a couple of different other aspects of inventory management, such as pushing data up, or perhaps even looking at orders data so that you can figure out what you need to do with your inventory. But of course, since we do have those videos coming up, make sure to hit that subscribe button and also the bell so that you get notified of the new videos whenever they come out in the near future. But I'm a guy called Joe. This is Bootstrapping Tools Let's Build. It's been a pleasure, and we're out.